Hey everybody, what is going on? I am sorry I am late. That's a pretty usual thing. My streams are generally 10 minutes after I say they're going to start. But how is everybody doing? Kind of rush today, and been kind of feeling the funk today also, and not in the brass band kind of way. I've been just feeling a little off, but mentally I'm really good. So I hope y'all are really good, and I hope off, but hold on, hope we don't get feedback. But hopefully everybody is doing well. I've got you all here, so I can see the actual chat in real time. So it's really good to see everybody in here. We got the Yeti, we got Victoria Lee. By the way, Victoria, the pictures you post are so immaculate. You're like Martha Stewart meets like Urban Outfitters meets ADA or something. Your man, your life looks very, very beautiful. You and your Halloween picture too. Love the way your living space looks so alive. Brian, what's up? K-Day, hello, across the pond. Jeff Kane, Nirvana Aquatics, how are you doing? I saw that you're on Vivi, and so that's exciting. And yeah, I've seen a lot of you guys getting on there, and I've heard a lot of people getting some pretty killer deals. Banjo catfish for like $5. Radnocentris, what was it, 15 of them for $50? I think Jason got something like that, something crazy. So pretty cool. But Featherfin Films, hello, welcome. Euro Gupper, hello from across the pond again. Beauty and the Buds, what's up? Just got my email. Oh, good. Glad to hear it. See, I don't always know whose email and whose screen name go together, but yeah, it helps when people are like, yeah, I'm the one who you just emailed you. Then I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now. Now I know what I'm talking about. Because like today I think there were like 43 or 44 emails from the channel or channel related stuff, and then another 10 or 12 private messages, and I just didn't feel like answering them first thing in the morning, because usually I do it like late night or whatever, which is great. I'm glad that lots of you guys have stuff to say, stuff you want to talk about, chime in, correct things I've screwed up, whatever. But I really do appreciate it. So Jasper, what's going on from Denmark? Right on. Well, hello. I hope I'm not keeping you too late, but I'm glad you're here with us. Zombie Cat, what's up? Currendillion Works, what is going down? The Yeti, what's up? Nancy B in Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee, there is a lot of diversity there of fish, but it's illegal to collect. It is not illegal to collect bait fish, though. And then you can say, well, I was going to use these as bait fish tomorrow, and then it'd just be a shame if tomorrow never came. That works in a lot of states. Melissa Turner, what's going on? You're waiting. I know. I'm sorry. Bunny Viper, what is up? Skydancer and Bunny Viper. For some reason, those two handles I get mixed up. By the way, now you can at me quicker if you want, or hashtag me quicker if you want, at Fishery, no exclamation point. It won't let me do an exclamation point. 101. But of course, somebody took Fishery while I was debating it for the 3 days they've had this feature. Somebody took Secret History, The Secret History, but I wanted it short anyways. But somebody took all the handles you could ever think of related to my channel, like Alex Secret, Alex Fishery. Like somebody was on it, meaning they had to create unique channels for each one. So I'm curious who the heck did, it must be bots. I'll blame bots whenever I don't know the answer. It's now robots. It's computer algorithms and robots. Sage, what's going on? Who else is hiding in here that I missed? Silver Creek, what's up? Always good to see you in here. And who else? Craig. Craig is always counted on to be on time. Appreciate you being here as well. Very nice, very nice. And wow, you guys talked a lot. Fish and Floral, don't know if you're still here, but hello if you are. Liquid Zoo OnlyFans, Matt, what's going on? And now I'm going to hop back down to live. So if you just type something, a question or a thought, feel free to repost. Also, Xanadudu, what's up? Ryan, what's up? Good to see y'all. Nino, what's up? All right, so I have Secret History 101. Yeah, it's super lame, right? That's the only one I could get to work. But it's shorter than at the Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, if you're trying to highlight me. I still usually see Alex. I tend to see that, like my eyes kind of just trained for it. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is I want to probably get the I mean maybe I'm an egotist, but I want to get the check mark because I've had other people pretend to be my channel and use my actual face and like my thumbnail and all that. So I didn't think that the channel was large enough for that to be an issue, but apparently a couple people have gotten messages saying you've won a prize. Just send us your bank account info. I would never do that. Every time we give away stuff on the channel, I just need your email, and then somebody from the company that's either putting up the prize or myself will just wire it via PayPal or Venmo. I would never ever ask for bank stuff, so don't fall for that. Zachaholic or Zach Lolick, what's up? Sketty Nonia, good to see you. Alishon, good to see you. Yes, I did purchase Rosario's where did it go? Oh, hold on. LaQuart's book. I want to show you guys that. All right, so I wanted to give you guys a sneak peek. Rocky M. Miles, woof woof. What's up? What's up? So this book, Rosario LaQuart's life story and the hobby along with it, basically. I like that they use a picture of him where he looks old and wise, but he doesn't look 94 or but man, beautiful rare fish pictured all throughout this book, including some saltwater too. He's got variants I've never seen of crebensis and peacock gudgeons that are just out there. And I mean, look at some of these fish. These are more that Madagascar rainbows that I've never seen. Come on, focus. I've never seen any of these. They're so cool looking. That one's like orange and black for Halloween. And lots of killifish. Back in the day, they were really huge on killifish. But I mean, he's got pictures of him as like a 35-year-old or 40-year-old in the 50s. So this really does go back. I mean, his first fish collecting trip to Brazil was in 58. So, I mean, he went way before most of us here were born. And it's just got amazing info. I mean, just the fact that, like, he's traveling shortly after World War II to some of the other places, Africa and Central America. And also, he's got a lot about the military in here and the role that played. And kind of like what it is that I guess there were a couple military generals that were like really big on fish after being stationed far away out in the Pacific and things during World War II on the Pacific front. And yeah, they really cover a lot of who did that and like who actually even encouraged breeding and bringing in these fish, because generals were like freaking heroes. They kind of saved the world, so to speak, back in the day. He's also got some really interesting pictures of varieties of like nanostoma pencilfish and stuff that I haven't seen in a long time, that's for sure. And I've seen in like old ads, but I never see them in the hobby anymore. So it's kind of cool to see some of these super old fish that aren't popular anymore. Like there's a bunch of tetras from Africa that used to be really popular when the UK had colonies, or like ex colonies essentially, in Africa still. So then they'd send them over via the UK, and they had a lot of different fish that now we really don't see a lot of the African tetras. We see like Congo tetras and a few others, but there's dozens of them. Also, look at this Daphnia pond. It's like a lake, and that's just for Daphnia. So, anyways, there's lots of good pictures in here and lots of good stories and asides, and goes back all the way into the late 1940s while he was keeping uh, fish. And again, the chapter on the military, this is something that I could easily do several talks about, how World War II influenced the hobby, how the Spanish American War also, uh, or the rather the Mexican American Spanish Cuba Philippines conflict, how that all played out. Um, that was much earlier, but even then, how that caused things like bettas and paradise fish and rice fish even to be quite popular. The other thing, he's got pictures from his own setups as early as 1954. Him and Axelrod together. I mean, just wild that this guy's still alive and someone you can talk to. Just so cool to have this resource. I'm so glad he finished this book. Not to say, anything else, but yeah, of 93 or 4, you're pushing it a bit. So the other thing, the German fish cans, or different transport methods that people had to come up with when they were trying to move fish around. Very cool. So in any case, I just, between this book and a few others, like this is actually covers an incredible history. Everything from past World War II till now is covered very well in this book, just through skimming through it. But I'm going to definitely read through it carefully and cross-reference things, because a lot of books, you'll have primary sources like this, for instance, and they'll say, well, the first fish we ever got in New York that was a discus was in the year blah blah blah. Well, then someone in Philadelphia may have another year, and it may just be assumed, oh, so and so had the first discus, ask them. So our hobby has a lot of hearsay, and when we've got like hard facts, pictures of invoices, pictures of club meetings or prizes from the year that they won, the first person to breed this or that, the hobby really, I don't know, it really amazes me how much it used to be like an interpersonal thing, like how much when someone would breed something for the first time, it would be celebrated and they would like have some level of kind of fame in the community. And I feel like now many things have been bred, but there's still a ton that haven't. And I mean, yeah, if you're really into that one fish, maybe somebody will care. But yeah, the author is Rosario Lacorte, and it's his book. I don't know that there's any sort of ghost author even, but the Smithsonian Institute did help curate some of the photography, it looks like. But yeah, and his wife, he thanks, also for photographing and saving stuff for 66 years together. Pretty amazing. Golden years of the hobby, 1950 to 1960. That's really when it changed from your average person could afford to keep an angelfish, or, by the 60s, really, it was like discus, Rift Lake cichlids were coming in, stuff like that. But he's notes all of that as that came rolling out. And that's an area where I've spoken with people, but I haven't had the ability to cite a published book. And so I'm really excited to be able, for my talks, to have something um, kind of solid, right? Like something that I can point to and say, here's the poster. They met in, Cincinnati for the American Killifish Association, and they did X, Y, and Z. Dee Dee, what's going on? Alec the Nice, what's going on? It's good to see you guys coming in. Always good to see you, period. Screaming Fly Productions, what's up? I see you going on and on about how I'm too gray. I'm gray, da ba dee ba ba die. Also, the map behind me, that is Paris. And it is Paris of the French Revolution, just before the French Revolution. Um, but I love maps. If I had more money and space, we would have a map room. If I had more than 2 bedrooms, we would have a third that is not a guest bedroom. It is a map room. I think my wife and I have agreed on that. Let's see here. All right, so we all got to be something. Yeah, I'm gray. All right, so yeah, this book, it's a little pricey, but I know how Amazon takes a cut of things, and when they do the distribution and all that, I don't know. Let's see, are they actually publishing this book? It might be a self-published deal. In fact, it kind of looks like it. Hold on, let's see. But it was $30, which I think is fair for a book of someone's life work and all the pictures. I mean, it took him years to work on this. Yeah, December 2015 is as early as they were talking about the first draft of the book. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. I don't see any sort of Moni, Illinois. Let's see. I don't see any publisher. Rosario LaCourte and the Greater City Aquarium Society, a not-for-profit New York State corporation. Yeah. What's nice is they've got all the Latin names and all of they're organized by Latin names of fish and what page they're on, but then it's also organized by when he brings up other speakers and breeders. So it's got like things like Frank Locke, under L, and it's got a bunch of French and German names I can't pronounce, but Tom LaCourte, Rosario LaCourte Sr. So, anyways, yeah, it's got their names, which is really helpful for me as a historian to flip through books. And yeah, why, Millie, why am I like this? Man, that's hard to read. I'm sorry. How's it going? It's going well. Ken 3D Aquatics, what's up? Good to see you. Also, Denang, I saw your super chat fly by. It didn't skip my mind. I appreciate it so very much. I've noticed on all channels and myself too that super chats have gone like way down. Like I've noticed, and please don't take this as me complaining or trying to guilt you guys. I notice it and I think about it because this time last year, super chats on average, I think in a month I'd make like something like $300 or $400, and that's streaming twice a week usually. So if you split it up, it's like, I don't know, 20 or $30 a stream. This month, I made $16 in super chats. So I either am really slacking on the live streams, and that may be the case. And if so, I want to know what I can do, guys, to make these better, and make them a more a better experience. But I don't assume that, I don't always necessarily assume that money means good, but it is a hint. So I don't need the money necessarily. I just need you guys are enjoying it, like, to know that's the more important part. So I really wanted to make sure that you guys are, I don't know, feeling okay, still enjoying these. And I've kind of gone back and forth with, like, are the live streams going to be me talking, or are they going to just be Q&A, or a little bit of both? And I think a balance of both is probably the best. So yes, exactly, Dee Dee. I think you're totally right. That's what I was going to get to saying, is the inflation. And this year, like, the fact that gas and food and milk and, like, everything is so expensive. If you have a family, it is nuts. It is so incredibly hard, to bring home the bacon and all that. So, yeah, definitely. Oh, Corundilian Works, thank you so much. The dollar super chat means a great deal to me, like, that's the thing I'm trying to still do, because I'm in the same boat, guys. I'm definitely like, well, don't have the money I did last year. And I think a lot of people are gonna, like, that's gonna play out this holiday season. I think it will play out in an interesting way. When I do my forecast, you know, for what the hobby's up to in the next year, when I do that every winter, kind of talking about the next year, I really am at a little bit of a loss with, what's going to happen. I mean, employment's super high in America, but definitely luxury spending is very selective and sporadic. I think people are spending not so much freely just on, like, oh, I've got money to burn. I think people are a little bit like, I need to squirrel away some money. So if everybody's doing that, that would be good. I mean, I would feel happy if that's where the money is at, and it's not just like that I suck as a creator. Hope Humangibu. I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm so sorry, but hello and welcome. Um, but yeah, anyways, so here's the deal. Yes, employment is high and pay is low. I hear that for sure. I definitely understand that. For 3 years now, I've said I'm doing fish keeping YouTube stuff full time, right? Um, and then, inevitably every month I'm like, oh, I gotta get a graphic design gig, which is fine. It's been fine. And I got to do Vivi stuff the last year. So, you know, I will say that if I could probably build it another 30% larger, that would be a place where, like, it could plateau, and I wouldn't have stress about, making just the basic bills, or if I didn't have any medical needs. All right, well, that's enough about money. I don't want to talk about money anymore. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, diesel. Yeah, I saw the thing about the diesel shortage. There's not really a diesel shortage per se. It's just like the pockets of places are out of it, and I won't get into it all, but it's a false and manufactured shortage. A lot of it. It has to do with crap that the oil companies are pulling. A lot of people are going to blame the government, and the government has a role to play. But bottom line is, all these, whether it's consumer goods like aquariums and glass, rimless tanks coming from overseas, Aqueon cheapo tanks coming from overseas, For a while there was a shortage because of glass, because the skyscraper industry was cooking along so good that they were taking all the low iron glass. I mean, there's always something, or wheat now has gone up, and so then soy goes up because it replaces it. And the US has so much wheat, corn, and soy that we literally pay farmers to burn it or not grow it every year. So it's just ridiculous that we can't sort some of these things out. Yes, exactly. Goose, not Maverick. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Up north, eh? Yeah, it's more of a distribution problem than it is a production issue. Yes, exactly. Um, all right. So, what I was gonna say is, yes, exactly. Crundillion works. I agree. It's just like the '70s. The oil companies manufactured a crisis, and then they demand concessions in the name of power independence, and never actually increase our stored oil or head towards power independence. Like they never did that in the '70s. After that was the whole point. Just like when the big banks supposedly got broken up and then got backed and nothing happened. No politics, please. Yeah, let's avoid it. I don't want to go down the partisan rabbit hole. Uh, yeah, but needless to say, I would say that anybody who thinks economic issues are strictly due to one party or president doesn't understand at all the power of billionaires, big business, and market. I mean, think about it. You can say this thing is illegal and you go to jail for life for it, and you're going to increase the price of the black market. People are going to buy what they want to buy, and people are going to supply what that is unless it is like unable to be produced. So when it's something that exists, yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna exist, but prices may go for a roller coaster ride in the meantime. And not to mention, I just want to say this last piece: the oil companies together, the big five, made 151 billion in profits last year. That's during the lockdowns and during all the chaos. So yes. All right, now back to the fish. So, um, I have my new CO2 thing set up. I took my old one off. My old one's still working, so I'm probably going to hook it up on another tank. This is just cut, but it does look kind of funny. It looks like some Star Wars instrument or some Star Wars paraphernalia. But yeah, this is just a little cheapo $54 one. It worked great for 3 years for me. It's very similar to the off-brand ones that you find on just Amazon that don't. I mean, they have some name like the F Fire Flame Zero, or the Bubble Nader, or whatever it is, Nature's Oxygen, or Breath of Nature. They always have some goofy name, and it's gone after they sell like 1,000 units or whatever, some transshipper stuff. But I mean, whoever's making these regulators, a lot of them, there's like 3 or 4 manufacturers in the whole world that really make these in that are not just custom. So the ones who are not making custom ones, there is one major manufacturer that makes all these regulators for non-pharmaceutical, non-surgical type stuff, and they make this body piece. And then there's another one that makes these gauges, and you'll even see that the markings on the gauges, this button is the same. This valve is literally identical across whether it's a $400 setup or a $54 setup. Um, yeah, and I just got the F Zone dual one, and I'm so far I'm impressed by it. Let me make sure it doesn't leak and all that before I say how impressed I am. But yeah, so the other thing I wanted to say is that Desora Tees, what's going on? Yes, I'm coming to Florida. So that's the other news is the videos of me collecting in Florida plus the tour of the shrimp room. Hey, Victoria, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really do appreciate it. And you guys can become a member for $1.99. And like I said, that really does help even more than super chats lately, because it's a month ahead that money is there, whereas everything else as a creator is kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to be making. And so it's nice in that sense, but two, also it's predictable for you, and then you don't have to. Well, I hope none of you feel guilty anyways about any money related issue. This is free. I have ads, so don't ever do that. Oh, what's the dotted line on my neck? This was from Halloween, and I was gonna be on the Aquatic Morning Show. I got dressed up, and then by the time I did that, it was like over. Um, but yeah, I had an old outfit that nobody's seen in a long time. Back since the age of the old Republic or the New Republic or whatever Star Wars reference would be applicable. Let me get you guys a picture of yesterday. I don't know. It was it was more applicable back in 2016 when I first did it, but essentially it is 50% water change crew. It says Nano fish on my face. It says CPD on my chin. There's a whale on one cheek. There's a YouTube play button in the center, and then it says Lil Fish on my hands. Um, yeah, so there's a video from, I don't know, what, 6 years ago now, where at the time there was a rapper by the name of Takashi 69, which I kind of thought was funny because of Takashi Amano, this calm, zen, chill, amazing genius, and then this like rainbow haired like Chucky doll clown rapper. Um, Oh yeah, it was Pre-Malone, of course. It was 6ix9ine when he was coming up, Takashi 6ix9ine, and making some drama before he got in all the trouble and everything. Just like when he blew up the first time. Maybe it was 2017. I don't know, whatever year that was. But I did a thing where you can go back and watch it. I'm sure if you guys look for it, you'll find it. But it was the 50% a day water change gang, because he had the 6ix9ine tattoos all over his freaking face. So I ended up, putting them all over. Um, you just tried baby Amanos. Were they like, did they hatch in your water? Because if so, it wouldn't surprise me. They don't ever survive without a true. So let me rephrase that. There's a few people who've bred them in captivity, but for the vast majority of people, even like professional facilities like in Germany and America, Singapore, they can't breed the Amano shrimp correctly. Very, very hard. If you got yours to last 12 days, that's incredible, saltwater or not, because it has to do with a lot of other things, including the nutrients in the salt water, the microorganisms, and all sorts of stuff. So they basically have to be near. From what I've read on the successful occasions that I've seen it, other than people who are getting a few Amanos out of each spawn and a few can survive, what they're having to do is they're having to use actual water, like it's off the coast of Singapore, that is salt water from the sea, rather than just creating salty water. All right, guys. So yeah, so here's the deal: is those videos did really well in Florida, and I'm glad you guys liked them. I'm glad. I still have more, but here's the thing: I talked to Lucas Bretz and LRB Aquatics, and I never got to see his place. And he's another 2.5 hours north of where I was. He's like all the way up, kind of by the Panhandle, at the border of Florida and Georgia area, kind of, well, Central Florida, straight up, basically right before the Panhandle. And that area has some beautiful places. Now, I'm wondering this time of year if any of that water, I mean, it's going to be 72 to 74 degrees year round in those beautiful blue springs. But to truly find the species that are exciting, we're going to need to go to some rivers. We're going to need to get hopefully on a boat. And this is where it comes in. And I really need your opinion, guys. Hey, George, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. The other thing I'm going to need the opinion of you guys on is what would you rather see? I mean, do you want to see Lucas Brett's place, or do you think that he's already shown it off enough? Or would you like to see, central like elastomas, bluefin killies, top minnows, kind of stuff like I showed you before? Or do you want me to actually go down to Miami and find like full on, pythons and all sorts of exotic chameleons? And well, we can find chameleons in Pinellas County as well. But I didn't go to, I didn't go to the saltwater once when I was in Florida. So I want to go. I mean, I'm planning to go down there. I found some tickets that were crazy cheap. I mean, like I don't have to do a layover or anything, and I think they were 169 bucks each way. So basically, I would rent a car, and I'm thinking of spending maybe 8 days there before the holidays after Thanksgiving. And I'm still going to Ohio in the middle of November, but I need to jump on buying the ticket and planning. Am I going to Tampa or am I going to Miami? Now, my gut is I would love to go to Miami, but I kind of don't want to go alone. I'd rather go with someone who knows Miami well. And so I know there are people I could meet up with down there, here and there, but also Miami's more expensive. The thing about the area where I already was in the Tampa Bay area is there's so much yet to still explore. And so I want to do that. Plus, I mean, Grant has more stuff even to film at his place. There's other people with fish rooms that are incredible. And yeah, exactly. That's Denang. That's the next big thing is I really would like to find, or not find, I would like to also buy a GoPro for the trip and go underwater more. So the water we were at was very shallow, like 2 or 3 feet at most, and black. I mean, you wouldn't have been able to see more than about 6 inches at best in most areas, and alligators. But there are some crystal blue springs, which I also have footage of, that were just gorgeous with rotala and Ludwigia just growing in these thick mats that are incredible. So I think that's stuff that you guys would like to see. Jesper, yes, I want to go to Lake Inle too. Inle, with the Civil War and all, probably not going to be a stop in the near future. But as soon as it calms down, if I had the money, yeah, that's my dream. Um, Jeff just moved to Florida. Yeah, my wife used to live in Florida. And so as much as I want her to come to with me on this trip, it's really going to be a work trip. It's going to be every day. I'm going to try to have an itinerary and try to be up at dusk or dawn and out till dusk. And I want to get a hold of some of you, and also get more tours, more fish farms, stuff like that. I've already been to Seagrass. I've been to the aquaculture lab, but I want to go back to the aquaculture lab. So I'm definitely going to try to arrange for a special tour of that for you guys, because they're always working on really incredible stuff like, platinum gar, red tail catfish crossed with giraffe catfish. I mean, just insane. Like, how does that happen? And it's crazy, mad science engineering stuff. The sturtlefish, the half sturgeon, half paddlefish. I mean, it's just absolutely bonkers what they create there. natural or otherwise, but it's pretty interesting. So that's the thing is I would love if anybody who's watching this is in Florida, I would love it if you could just let me know. Just tell me uh I'm in Florida and I have a fish room and I am here. And if you have a couple pictures, if you want to be on it, that is obviously, or I own a fish farm, or I work at a fish store, and then I can go there. Now, the other thing about Miami is I believe there are some aquascaping shops that are brand new as well. And I mean, when you go down there, then you're possibly going to be catching things like clown ghost knives and parrot cichlids, and I mean, just crazy stuff that's in the water there, as well as like the iguanas and stuff. But as I said, I would definitely be kind of a vlogger alone style video. Wouldn't have the resources that I have when I've got locals and friends that have grown up in the area like I do on the Tampa side of Florida. Bioaquatics is another place I would really love to go. So I should probably just hit up Andre and figure that out and see if he would be okay with that. Because if so, I'll definitely do that. So, but yeah, please comment after this video uploads, or comment on another video, or message me, or in the Facebook group, or email me, whatever it takes. Let me know what you would like to see wherever it may be. And what I'll do is I'll compile a list of what's where, what I have time for, and the season, and if that plays a role. And that will dictate what the trip's going to be. This is definitely like a work trip in the sense of when I went down to Florida last time, every day, unless I crashed and fell asleep just because of my health, uh, we were out sometimes 18 hours a day for 2 days in a row. And then I crashed for 14 hours for one day. But I mean, we are going to be uh Alex, can you find one of those gals in the bikinis fishing for scientific reasons? Yeah, of course. When you go to Florida, everyone's just hanging out and looking good. Even if they don't look good, they're looking like sketchy and they're like a character. Like all the like sun bleached ex surfer dudes with the beer guts that are like on a bike and they've got like a tuna slung over their shoulder or something, a marlin, and a six pack in the other hand. Nano aquarium guy. I am in Miami. No fish room though. Grant has contacts with Gold Coast Aquarium Society. I'm fairly new to it. I met his social media guy. So if you do come, maybe I'm able to assist somehow. Well, thank you so much, Nano Aquarium guy. You are a great aquascaper. I know that much. What I was going to say is my hope is maybe I save Miami and maybe I'm able to give a speech at the Gold Coast Club in the near future or next year, and then I could hit Tampa again because I know I know the layout well enough now of that area with the times my wife and I have been there and the time this last time, that if I get a rental car, I can literally just hit all these different spots. I could start down by the airport or down by Lakeland, then work up to like Tarpon Springs and Spring Hill and all that area, and then go all the way up to uh, Grant's place, or Grant. Yes, would be going to Grant's place, but go all the way up to Lucas's place. That's probably the plan for now. And then if I could ever get a trip covered to Miami to speak to the Gold Coast Club, if they would like to hear me at all, that would be freaking incredible. And obviously, I would take them up in a second on that. That's the other thing is if you guys are, oh yeah, Chuck Davis, definitely him and Ryan of Wild, what is it, Wild Florida Fish Keeping. Uh, those guys, there's a few contact guys that are definitely the people to get a hold of down in Florida. They know all the spots. Um, But Dee Dee, you crack me up. Earth inspired. Hello. You're near Tarpon Springs, Tampa, Tom. Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be an area. If this trip goes the way I'm thinking, that's probably going to be the side I'm on. Also, there'll be less lightning. It'll be a little cooler, which will give me more stamina as a northerner. The lupus that I have always kind of interferes with the super hot days that were like 90 with 80% humidity. Those days, I can't lie, they really do drain me. But it's not so bad if it's like 75 or whatever. Let's see here. I want to send this link to myself because we're going to take a look at a cool thing that I've got going on. All right. Okay. All right. So let me, yeah, it's still in the high 80s there. Yeah. You guys you have it so good. Um, yeah, a little less humidity is nice. I do like the lightning storms, though. I'm not gonna lie. That's something that I really enjoy seeing and would will miss about visiting in December. Uh, the humidity and the mosquito levels, not so much. Those things I will not miss. I know there's always some mosquitoes, but yeah. So, guys, I don't know if you've ever heard of a um, Betta nest transplant, but yeah, Ryan Wild Fish Tanks has not posted any videos in a while, but he came to my talk, which was great. I saw him for a moment. I didn't get to talk to him. Um, when I was down in Pasco, which was the Doom talk where the projector and stuff just wouldn't work, I was literally using a camera like this, the one I'm holding, and I was looking at a phone like this and swiping it, and then the computer would kept going to sleep on us. So I'd have to run over there and like jiggle the mouse, and I was trying to talk and I didn't have notes, which actually I can give a speech without notes, no problem. I've given all three of my main speeches that I've brought to clubs. I'm at the point now where I actually just alter them as much as possible to the actual region that I'm visiting and try to, say something unique each time. Corundilian works. Do you run into weird seasonal allergies when you travel, Alex? I know you have, I don't know how lupus affects it, but MS is known to exacerbate, reveal new. Yes. So all my autoimmune stuff is it's hard to explain. Sometimes I do okay, especially if they've got me on steroids and chemo medicine like methotrexate and stuff that's just bombarding my immune system with like chill out immune system, shut up. Got it in a headlock. But if I don't take that or if it isn't calibrated right, I can't afford the biologics that are injectable. And insurance, yes, they cover 75% of those meds, but those meds are like $4,000 to $8,000, the new ones, to get a month. And I think the one that they wanted me on was like 4,000 something. So after insurance took their 25% or whatever that they were willing to cover, it was still going to be like 32 or 3,600. It doesn't matter if it's over 500, if it's over $600, it's just not going to be in my mind as an option. So Beauty and buds. Yeah, I do have lupus, but I am able to manage it, which, right, it is, um, it's usually okay. I'm usually okay. It makes my joints and things, it slows me down a bit. Um, but usually I, I can, I've found kind of taking a certain amount of prednisone every day and not doing certain things that I know make it worse definitely Yeah, help. Yeah, Currendillion. Yeah, exactly. That will be $14,750.69. Thank you. Yeah. All right, guys. So let me know about the Florida trip, but now I want to finish up the last of the show. Hopefully, we don't get feedback. Hold on, guys. Let me mute everything. All right, guys. Can you hear me? Um, so let's take a look at a couple things I got going on before I sign off. So I recently culled all my blue dreams and split them up into different categories. Let me get this camera turned around. Is it gonna turn with me? Is it gonna turn with me? Bueller. All right, there we go. Yeah. All right, guys. So now these guys are all really blue, really beautiful blue. There's probably around 200 in here, and I only put these guys in here at the beginning of the year. I think like actually February. Oh, and we have some itty bitty little baby newborns, cute. But they're all over in here. I mean, they're all over the place. When I start putting food out for them, they just come out of every which way, every spot in the tank. There are shrimp in here because there's no fish in this whole 22.5 gallon. But these Blue Dreams, I got these from Grant, and they check this out. There's a carnivorous little bladderwort here that's eating all these ostrocods. So see all the little food right here, all those little white dots. What I'm doing is I'm prepping this tank. I'm allowing them to multiply. And then when I breed bettas or if I breed any nano fish, what I'll do is I'll try to get all the shrimp that I can that are young out of here and I'll leave the adults, but then I'll allow the babies of the fish to just come in here and survive off this after I've gotten them off the infusoria. So I kind of play musical fish with that. Now, the other thing that I'm doing right now, which I'm happy is up and running, is I've got the CO2 going for one tank. So just got it going for this tank. And I don't know why these angelfish want to be near the CO2 and the stagnant area. And I'm going to be moving this, setting it up, putting it under here, all that stuff. But it's a 20 pounder. And then this is the F Zone $130 setup. And so I'm really curious to see how it handles. So far, it's amazing. It does really well. And it's funny, like I said, the little knobs look identical. The CO2 arts look identical to this. Aquarium Co-op, their regulator looks identical with just a Aquarium Co-op insignia here. Gauges are the same minus the F zone thing. This straight line valve is the same. The solenoid is even the same. So I don't know this for a fact, but I'm wondering if they are sharing the same manufacturer or if it's just that the same base components are the same. But either way, that lets me know I'm pretty happy with this in the past. I've used this whole manifold system, this block thing with the little arrows even frosted on there and all that. Pretty good. Question, is your CO2 food grade or welding? Mine is welding. It doesn't seem to matter a whole lot for the fish and plants. I mean, we're talking pretty trace amounts, and if it's high enough, over time. The only thing, the major difference is probably going to be if it builds up in the lines and things. But for the most part, it's never been an issue in my experience. But check out how much this Anubias fraseri has grown out of the tank. My this also the Bulbitis hedulata is finally doing really well and actually getting little fiddleheads and new growth outside. Same with the Ludwigia, but I want to go down and actually get more Ludwigia and things from Florida and bring them back. Like, see here, I've got some flowers that just passed right here, these little yellow ones. And I was watching Crystal Castleman, probably the greatest botanist of the aquarium hobby out there. And she was taking like palustris and like here's like a mini butterfly rotala piece, but she was taking different things as long as they were in the same genus and simply using a little Q-tip and just taking the pollen from one and crossing it with another, and it was working for quite a few species. So I don't know how easy that is for all species, but definitely like Repens and Palustris Ludwigia, she was doing that with and got a hybrid out of it. Now I don't think they're fertile, that one in particular, anyways. But it's interesting, and I want to play with it nonetheless because this tank's already so good at growing immersed. The wisteria is growing really immersed here too. Let's see here. Anyone want a teenager? I'm assuming is what you're saying. Also, check out all this moss and all this Cabamba furcata here, the Bacopa colorata, and the Senegalensis, the Mayaca red, and the Rotala Rotala Hra is starting to actually come back. The Persicaria Calagium, and then the Persicaria Sao Paulo, which Luke Wang gave to me. Pretty excited about that. It's actually growing beautifully over here too. And so is the Barclay longifol or Barclay yeah, longifolia, and then some of it melted a little bit. I think the snails and the algae eaters kind of got into it a little bit just because it started to melt and then they tugged on it a bit more. But this is such a beautiful plant when you see its full metallic spectrum, the Barclay longifolia bulb plant. And then here, this is just Crypspiralis. And then there's a Crypt albida at the base that it needs to grow up and out. But in any case, so I just wanted to let you know, this is non-CO2. This is pretty high light. This is the Twin Star, and so it's giving it quite a few lumens. This is the other one that we want to flower ASAP, which is the Aponogeton crispus, supposedly. But I've told you guys several times, I think it might be the new Caligalion one, Caligalion, which is from Sri Lanka, that happens to be this exact color and came out, was discovered at the exact time that this hit the market. Just makes me suspicious. Logonandra viboldi red is doing well, and the Logonandra silver actually has several nice looking leaves with the silver powder on it. And let's see here if we can dig out. Oh no, it's getting chewed up. Someone's chewed on it. That makes me so mad. This was such a beautiful leaf. That is a metallic, beautiful silver leaf. But yeah, so I need to kind of trim back some of this again. It's only been like a week and I've already got to trim it back again, get it under control. These things just want so much nutrients. When you see all those runner lines, this is the tap root here or the anchoring root. And then all the other ones are saying nitrogen, phosphorus. And I did get a new product recently that we'll try out. It was expensive. It's $20, but these are tablets of essentially potash, probably. But yeah, it's potassium in these actual tablets. and potassium is one that gets leached out quick. So the thing I really wanted to show you guys, though, you talk about Aponomy eating crispin a lot, and I always think you mean Potomac eating crispus. Yeah, Potomac eatons are interesting. Like the Stellatus octopus. My favorite Potomac eaton is this one right here, which is Gay Eye. And Gay Eye um it has beautiful gold ribbons down the center of it. And it can flow, it can be in low light, highlight. Highlight, it looks better. You get like purple, lavender, bronze, green, dark green, light green, orange. Like you get all these colors out of it. But it grows just fine, just tucked in, floating and doing its thing. Now, the other thing that was going on in this tank is that some of my uh, cute little equus pencilfish are having babies. And then the little black phantom tetras, here's the females. But if you look, uh-oh, are you gassed out, buddy? What's going on? Why were you at the top like that? If you look at them, you'll see them down here in the thicket. And there's these little babies that have started to come out the last few days. They're about half the size of these little females here, and definitely way smaller than the males that I've bought. So between them and these guys are a little more active today, the Venezuelan quarries. But yeah, it's interesting that this is one of the ones that's bred in the tank here. This one's a baby or juvenile rather, but that's an equus quarry or quarry pencil fish. I don't see them though. Usually the phantoms are hanging out right by the heater. Here's another little baby pencil fish. But here, let's go into the room where, oh, it's time to retire you. Uh, what root tabs last the longest? I don't know for sure, but I do like Seachems. I do like Seachems. Now, this might show you guys what a night owl I am, in that this whole room here is now on night duty. It is, wait a minute, why is this? Oh, there we go. So I also have this CO2 hooked up. Maybe. I need a new diffuser though. It's the same kind, but it's been covered in algae quickly. So if you guys remember how bad this tank was looking literally 4 days ago, you'll see that it's markedly looking better. I got some nitrogen in there, and the mulm stuff that's actually an algae, a diatomaceous algae, is still forming, but we're starting to get outcompete it with new shoots and growth. And check out at the top of the new growth, you can see that it's bright pink. I mean, it's bright colors. It's ready to compete. Do I know anybody who have the green fire tetras? Not at the moment. Those are really pretty though. Casual Aquatics, Mr. Ray Cooper. What is up, buddy? What's up, Ray Cooper? Yeah, so it's looking much better. The one thing though is I've still got a lot of algae on this wood, so I might actually take it out and clean it manually. The other thing is some of these fish are a little bit I don't know, they're acting a little odd. Like anybody probably at first glance would say, "Oh, they seem fine to me." But to me, just watching how often I've watched this biotope and how they should be behaving, the Chopras are really acting up kind of funny. In fact, one of them looks like he's got some sort of illness going on. And I need to like scoop him out now because I don't want to have to deal with him getting anybody else sick, because he just looks like he's maybe haggard and not feeling well. He's the one who's been missing an eye anyways. He's been swimming a little sideways, and he's a beautiful wild caught Chopra, so I feel kind of bad. Here he is. this might be a futile attempt to chase him with a bowl, but I'm also just trying to get a look at why some of these guys are. Yeah, this guy's not doing as good as he should. So I'm probably going to just move him to like a quarantine tank and let him. He's still feisty enough to get away from me, no problem, though. And he's still got good color. But see, he's missing an eye. And I don't know if that's why he's having these issues. Like that, if this eye issue, if we look at him, can we see it at all? Let's see. He's got an eye that's missing and he's swimming to one side. And I don't know if those two are linked. They probably are. But he's also got some inflammation on one side of his body, gills wise. And it looks like he's kind of scraped up on one side. So I'm just going to not stress about it and move him over into a different tank for a little bit, so that I don't need to, frankly, so I don't need to stress out about it. So I'm literally going to put him in, you know what, I'll just put him in here, in this little tank. But the reason it's so dim in here tonight, and oh, the other thing I was going to mention, so I did buy, like I said, I got some Phantom Tetra adults from Aquarium Co-op, and I also got some new Bettas from Little Amazon, which is a sketchy little place in my neck of the woods. By the way, I've also been cleaning this tank out with the cribs and the bettas in it. We've got bettas, we've got cribs, we've got cuckoo, catfish, Synodontis, petricola, and then we've got the banjo catfish are also in here. But what is worrying me is that I see the bettas hiding at the bottom underneath, which is odd. Not all of them, but some of them. And I'm wondering what's up. Are they just being picked on? Because like this guy's fine. He's up top. And then over here, we've got more of those blue mouth, the babies of the blue mouth cichlids. There's some over here. There's some back in here. So, I mean, this tank, I hate how it looks right now. Definitely needs a cleanup. I might even just reset it. I mean, look at all this mulm and just stuff, which on the face of it, I don't mind mulm. You guys know me. Mulm, I'm like, yeah, mulm's a good thing. Build it up, get an ecosystem going. But the problem is with this tank, all these fish dig, and in the wild, the mulm that they live in, I mean, they have water. They have a lot of water flow, and they're not getting much water flow. I mean, they're not getting water changes of 100% every hour or more. And so this mulm is settling. And even though the nitrates and nitrites are 0 in this tank still, which surprises me with how much debris there is, I mean, this mulm is a place for the nitrates and nitrites to actually get processed, honestly. But a lot of it is broken down leaf matter, and what it does is it just causes everything. It causes everything to melt, as like I talked about in my recent video, the nitrogen crash one. After talking to the biochemists and the head of the research and development department at one of the big fertilizer companies, I realized that, you know, there's all the auxins and the ABA and the AJA or JA, and all those different chemicals are telling plants, they're telling them, dump your, like, get rid of your lower leaves and grow your top ones faster. Well, telling it to grow the top ones faster then also tells the algae in the water to grow faster. Now, this tank doesn't have too much algae. It's got a little bit of a green algae single cellular thing, But what's going on is I'm just getting stringy moss, and none of the plants ever do well in here because it's a cichlid tank. So I might want to kind of change this to more of a specifically Tanganyikan tank and move the cribs over into the other tank that's a 40 breeder. I don't really know. The other thing that happened, so I was telling you that I got some new bettas. Well, when I got the new bettas, this within 2 days, I also got ick for the first time in a long time, like over a year. I haven't had ick in any of the tanks, and I got ick in this tank here, and it killed my gold tetras, my hemigrammus gold tetras. However, it also killed some of my Phoenix rasboras, which again, it's like once they're sick, it's so hard to do anything about it. I put a heater in here. It's at 86 degrees, but it's kind of too late. And the fact that I don't have a heater anymore as the default is kind of coming back to bite me on some of these tanks, because when you allow them to get cold at night, and I'm talking like 72 when they've been 76 in the day, fish start their immune systems start not doing so well if they're really hot climate fish. So, for instance, these little pencil fish, I knew they weren't going to make it, or had a very strong suspicion they weren't going to make it. And unfortunately, it looks like they haven't made it. But if we look down in here in this tangle, I think everybody else is going to make it, and the shrimp are doing fine. The blue shrimp coals that are in here are fine. Yeah, they're hanging under the glass and doing their thing. I've got the lightest blue ones in here. And then the other thing, like all the CPDs, erythromicrons, all the fish that don't mind being a little bit colder, they're all doing great in here. Like they're all bright and bushy-tailed as ever. Now, the thing is, obviously, you don't want to share implements. Yeah, so there goes an erythromicron. So really what took the hit was the gold tetras, which, if you remember, they are gold because of a parasite that actually damages their immune system and causes them to scar up, basically. And so the whole gold on them is guanine and guarine scars on a microscopic level under their flesh. So they already kind of have a weakened immune system, the ones that are collected for the hobby that are covered in the gold shimmer, which are the ones that I had. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to get some of the bio waste out of here and stuff. And by that, I just mean all this duckweed and like extra algae and just random stuff that's in here. This tank is over 5.5 years old now. Also, I moved, in case anybody was worried, because of how rare this guy is. I did manage to move the long fin Somfongzi Rasbora. You can see the long fin male there on the left. He's got beautiful long fins. Move them out of this tank, and they're in with some shrimp right now. And I don't even care if they eat some of the shrimp or whatever. So I moved 5 of them out and over into this tank, which is my Caridina shrimp tank. And there you can see his long fins pretty well there. He's the one in the middle. Right now he's just turned around. There you go. So he's got that long fin gene that no one I know has ever seen. So anyways, yeah. So they're doing their thing. These guys have had lots of babies. The babies are all hiding down in this Marimo mossball maze, basically. If you look at this tank, it is all guppy grass and the Marimo moss algae that has grafted onto it. But these are the bleeding heart tiger platies, tiger blood platies. with the Mickey Mouse tail. I don't love the Mickey Mouse tail or anything, but they happen to have it, so I wasn't going to complain. And also, there happened to be shrimp in here. There happened to be I didn't intentionally put them in here, but there happened to be all these little red Neocaridina shrimp in here. So I guess they're doing all right, which just kind of surprised me. And so are all of the um, all of the little platies seem to be doing well. They're a little skittish, but they're babies. Let's see if they'll come out. So I need to grab a different implement than the scissors or the turkey baster. This is a different turkey baster, black one. I just have to remember which one goes to which tank, but move things around a little bit and try to see who's where. But the babies, I always like to check on them. I'm just surprised that these platies aren't eating all the shrimp. Like, that is amazing to me. But yeah, the babies, here comes the babies. They're in here, and obviously they're live bearers, and they've been having, I think there's like 9 or 10 babies of these now already. I got these at Aquatic Arts. This one has the Mickey Mouse marking already on his tail, but he doesn't have any of the orange or anything. So we'll see what happens with these. Some of them, some aren't very bright, some are super bright, and some are super striped. So, anyways, they're doing pretty well though. And then also my Tiana Candidii, they're doing great. I know there's algae. I need to clean all the algae, but the male's there. Females here with their orange flame, looking killer, looking good. And then over here on the dark side of the moon, this is what I'm working on. The last thing I was going to show you guys today, other than also these guys, I've really worked on clarifying their water. And if you guys recall the state that this used to be in, this is a huge improvement. So I put in floating plants, and basically then I just go like this with the turkey baster, and I get the detritus off there. These are almost like, I'm not saying they're ionized, but it's almost like a static electricity that they get all the debris out of the water, and then you can just get rid of it, or you can throw it away, but sometimes it makes a mess. But this tank is so much clearer now just in a few days, and you can see this was all planted. All this tank was planted at one point, and then he got here and he tore it all up. But also what you can see is that the babies that they had about 4 or 5 months ago are doing well. They're holding their own, and they're growing up pretty big. Some are still a little smaller, some are still are a little bigger, but they're doing okay. And now I can see in here, and that makes me feel a little more secure with what they're up to. But then I take this nasty water with all the debris, and I put that up in the Daphnia tank because it's full of stuff that Daphnia, like an algae, like to eat. And then there's also, I was going to show you guys, I can turn on this light, I think. Let's see here. Yeah. So this is the little Aquatic Arts breeder kit tank. 2.5 gallons is all. And so my shrimp, when I put them in here, I was like, why aren't any of you guys buried yet? And that was about a week ago. And so I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Maybe they just need a little bit harder water. So I literally added about a half a teaspoon of crushed coral, and the next day I was able to notice that we have now 3 or 4 of these beauties buried, which is good. So the water's probably not too hard or anything. And then we were getting, again, the little white dots. We were also getting the sea anemone relative, or rather the hydra. And those can stress out shrimp. They can kill baby shrimp. And so while they're not like the end of the world, they're kind of like planaria in that I really don't want them in here. So I brought in some of these beautiful little exclamation point rasboras. And I'm just letting the exclamation point rasboras get into breeding condition and eat live food. And they're eating all of They literally, I don't see any right now. I'm not even seeing many of the little white dots on the glass. There's a few. But they came in, and within 4 or 5 days, they've cleared up all of the little issues that we had going. So I transferred a Betta nest to this tank yesterday, and I'm kind of curious. Let's turn up the light a bit. If he's protecting it, which the answer is clearly no. Rasbo over here, this is probably too busy of a tank for him, but he's not making his own nests. And it might be that his labyrinth organ got damaged when he was young, because if the humidity's not high enough, these fish won't be able to reproduce, or rather to make a nest to reproduce naturally. But check this guy out. He's the new guy, and he's beautiful. Same place as Rasbo's from, and he has built a magnificent bubble nest over here. He built another one over here earlier. I don't know if it's still there. Yeah, it's still all here. And his female now appears to be guarding it, so there might be eggs over here. He's guarding it pretty tough. So what I'll do is I'll wait until I confirm eggs, and then what I'll do is I'll move them over into that tank in the other room with the blue dream shrimp that has all those little white infusoria bugs waiting for them to eat. Now, this is still going to be in the process of getting renitrified. Then I'll worry about cleaning up all the algae and all that. But the fish, other than that one that was having issues, which might just be from fighting because their school is not as big as it once was, all the fish look really healthy. I mean, they're all doing really good. So I'm happy that the nitrate crash really did seem to be the problem. So I'm closing this door. Also, I'm leaving the filter open, so when I do these I've taken a video every day in the morning and night, and I'm trying to make note of like how much has changed. So basically, I treated this from how bad it was. I put in half of 1 packet of API's erythromycin. So that's like a quarter of the normal dose for fish. That killed all the cyanobacteria that was on a surface level. It actually killed all the cyanobacteria all the way down to about 1 inch in the substrate. And then now we got to deal with this algae, the diatomaceous algae, by outcompeting it with both CO2. See how clogged this stone is, though? So we need to get a better stone, better diffuser, rather. And then we also need to keep adding the micronutrients as well as the nitrogen into this. And then we may cut back this and plant some more of the stuff here that I cut the tips off of and replanted. But you can see even the stuff floating, it's growing back with color, with density, unlike before, where this is what it looked like before. I mean, you saw how bad it was looking. Even some of these are starting to grow new crowns. So it's not too late for your plants oftentimes when you think they're way past gone. You're still able to bring them back, but it is a lot of time and energy constantly siphoning this out, and then I'll have to take out this, and just for speed I'll be cleaning off with hydrogen peroxide probably all the algae, and then scrubbing it with like a Brillo pad or something, and then I'll probably replant after I do one more water change. So that's kind of the deal there. All right, guys. Well, I know that we covered quite a few different things tonight, but I hope everybody is doing well, and I'm so appreciative that you guys wanted to spend this time with me. Awesome old me. And I am going to get out of here and sign off. If I missed anybody's questions or anything here at the end while we were doing the show and tell portion of the journey, and yes, you guys are seeing all my dirty room and all the issues that I have, but that's real. That's what's going on. That's what happens when I travel for a month and then kind of neglect everything and focus on 1 or 2 tanks and not the rest. So yeah, that's what's going on. I'll probably need to set up some extra grow out tanks, switch things around in the coming days. But again, the plan too is to get more domestic native fish when I'm in Florida, breed them, and then make them available in the hobby, because there's no reason why we shouldn't be keeping those beautiful fish. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Lurkers, those of you who came in late, who were here early, members, non-members, super chatters, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. New members, Victoria, appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on Friday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and I'll probably have a new video for you guys tomorrow or the next day. So thanks for watching. Have a great night. Take care of yourself and your critters, and I'll talk to you later.